Come on.
Officers were on patrol. They were flagged down by a family member involving a disturbance here at this scene.
We could see no red flags. This was just completely out of the blue.
Friday, Fisher's mother says her son was acting completely out of character.
His so-called friends laced him on some fake weed and it him up. So he come home on a rampage.
That threat may have been carried out. The victims aged less than 30 years old and less than 4 years old. They've not yet officially been identified. Mom says her son has already served a long hitch in prison, but she blames police for the murder.
Family is supposed to be your first line of defense, the place you run to when the world feels unsafe. A brother is supposed to protect his sister. He is supposed to stand between her and harm, not become the source of it. But in this story, that sacred bond was shattered in the most unthinkable way. Instead of protecting his own sister and young niece, he turned against them in a betrayal so cruel, so calculated it left an entire family reeling. The very person who should have been their shield became their greatest threat. "28-year-old Janine Fisher was a loving, loyal, and hardworking woman whose world revolved around her daughter, Carly.
Mama.
Yes. Yes, baby.
Come on. Good job. Go. Come on. You gotta move. You gotta keep moving your arms though. You gotta keep going. Move them. Move them. Move 'em.
Everything she did was for Carly. Her daughter gave her a sense of purpose that she had never known before. The things that once mattered to Janine no longer held the same appeal. Her sole focus was on being the best mother she could be, ensuring that her baby girl had everything she needed and more. Despite being only 2 years old, Carly was already exceptionally bright, with a personality so big that it seemed to fill every room she entered. Although Janine was no longer with Carly's father, the two managed to co-parent remarkably well, ensuring that Carly grew up surrounded by love and stability. But beyond being a devoted mother, Janine was an all-around beautiful person, both inside and out. She kept a low profile, staying away from unnecessary drama, because her peace was everything to her. Aside from her daughter, another source of peace in Janine's life was her older brother, Kendrick, who had been incarcerated for the past 7 years. Despite the challenges, Janine stood by him, offering her unwavering support throughout his entire ordeal. She never wavered in her commitment to him, always hopeful for the day they would be reunited. That day finally came, but no one could have predicted the shocking and tragic chain of events that would follow. The reunion, once a symbol of hope and family, would soon unravel into a nightmare no one could have foreseen. Around 3:30 in the morning on November 29th, officers from the Houston Police Department were flagged down by a concerned individual who reported that a woman and her young daughter were being held hostage inside their apartment. Responding quickly, the officers arrived at the Knox at West Chase apartment complex in West Houston, where they encountered a horrifying scene. Inside the apartment, they found an unresponsive adult female and a toddler, both appearing lifeless. Lying nearby on the sofa was a man who was sleeping and covered in blood.
The crime scene is located less than a mile from HPD's West Side Command here behind me. Initially, we're told officers were actually flagged down by family members. A third-floor unit at the Knox at West Chase complex became a crime scene just before 3 o'clock this morning when responding officers went inside.
As they made a sweep of the apartment, they discovered a deceased female between the ages of 25 and 30 and a deceased toddler as well.
The victims were identified as 29-year-old Janine Fisher and her 2-year-old daughter, Carly, who were both tragically pronounced dead at the scene after succumbing to multiple stab wounds. Upon arriving at the scene, officers immediately secured the apartment and began assessing the situation. However, they were unprepared for the full extent of the horror that had occurred within those walls. As law enforcement and first responders processed the scene, they were left shaken by the brutality of what they had discovered. The investigation into the events surrounding the incident quickly began, but answers were not immediate. What had started as a seemingly routine call to the police soon escalated into a deeply disturbing case. The family's nightmare had tragically come to an end, and the search for answers was just beginning. Police quickly arrested Janine's own brother, 29-year-old Kendrick Fisher, who was found lying bloody on the couch. During his arrest, officers noted that Fisher had injuries consistent with a physical altercation. Jail records would later reveal that Fisher had been released from prison in December 2023 after serving a 7-year sentence for armed robbery, with additional time added for being caught with contraband. According to neighbors, Kendrick Fisher had been living with his sister Janine for the past few months. While he had reportedly caused unease among the apartment residents, including his own family, no one could have predicted the violent turn of events. Fisher's own mother told news outlets that her son had been brutally physical with her in the past. Kendrick had been influenced by his so-called friends who got him involved with fake weed, changing his overall demeanor. She went on to explain that she had filed multiple complaints in the past against her son due to instances of family violence. She expressed frustration and concern over his violent behavior, which had escalated over time, but she was ultimately left feeling powerless to prevent what ultimately took place.
I don't know if he was laced in or what.
Her daughter and granddaughter were murdered overnight in their West Houston apartment, and this woman's son seems to be the prime suspect, taken into custody by police.
His so-called friends laced him on some fake weed, and it him up. So he come home on a rampage. I put him out. I'm his mom. I put his out. He threatened our whole family to kill. I want to let you know, the law failed me because he fought his mother Saturday. And I went to the courthouse, to the police station, and I got paperwork, family violence. We did all this paperwork stuff, but what?
Despite this, neighbors reported seeing no signs of tension between Kendrick and his sister, with one describing his violent outburst as completely unexpected. Over the years, Janine had posted several times on Facebook, expressing how much she loved and missed her older brother, often sharing her excitement about his return. However, that eagerness gradually began to shift as concerns over Kendrick's behavior grew. Family members began to fear that he had not changed at all, with some even recalling moments when he threatened their lives. In one particular Facebook post, Janine wrote, "This year really played in my face. I'm messed up about it, but time heals. Things change and life goes on. Praying for everyone's mental, because mine is everywhere." While Janine tried her best to keep her struggles private, it was clear that the mounting tensions and fears were taking their toll on her. Unfortunately, despite her efforts to protect her family and maintain a sense of normalcy, the situation would ultimately take a tragic turn, marking the devastating end to what had once been a hopeful relationship between siblings. As authorities pieced together the details of that tragic morning, the questions surrounding what led to such an unimaginable act continue to linger, leaving the community and loved ones in shock as they seek to understand the motives behind the horrific deaths of Janine and little Carly.
At the doorstep of an unspeakable crime, balloons, teddy bears, and heartfelt messages left for 28-year-old Janine Fisher and her 2-year-old daughter's family. Janine's brother, 29-year-old Kendrick Fisher, now charged with her daughter to death Friday morning.
I don't understand hurting your own sister, hurting a woman, hurting another person, period. But what possessed you to hurt this baby?
Records show Kendrick Fisher had gotten out of prison last December after serving a 7-year sentence for armed robbery with extra time tagged on for contraband. For the last few months, family says Janine Fisher had been letting him stay with her at the Knox at West Chase apartments.
A lot of the residents around here would get an eerie feeling from him.
And that includes members of his own family.
He had already beat the hell out of me.
Fisher's mother telling reporters Friday how her son had once attacked her, but friends say there were no signs of ill will between brother and sister. Around 3:30 that morning, police say they were flagged down and told Janine Fisher and her daughter were being held hostage in their apartment. When officers made it inside, they say they found both dead with multiple stab wounds and a blood-covered brother sleeping on a sofa.
The apartment managers were crying about that. Residents were crying about that.
Emmanuel Thomas's 3-year-old daughter, a frequent playmate of the murdered 2-year-old, a child whose death is just as perplexing as it is horrifying.
She was defenseless. She can't do anything. She posed no threat to you. That's what I and a lot of other people are wondering.
Wondering and asking questions. Police say only one man can answer.
29-year-old Kendrick Fisher was arrested and charged with capital murder following the brutal deaths of his sister Janine and her 2-year-old daughter Carly. He is currently being held at the Harris County Jail, where he has been denied bond. This tragic event serves as a stark reminder of the importance of recognizing the warning signs of domestic violence and the potential dangers of unresolved family conflicts. Despite Kendrick Fisher's past history of violence and disturbing behavior, the true extent of the threat he posed may not have been fully acknowledged by those around him. The story also underscores the unpredictability of violent outbursts, even when no immediate tension is visible. It highlights the need for intervention and support systems for individuals who show violent tendencies, as well as the importance of being vigilant in situations where a family member may be at risk. The tragic loss of Janine and her young daughter Carly stresses the need for greater awareness and action when it comes to recognizing and addressing abusive behaviors before they escalate. Rest in peace, Janine Fisher and Carly Watkins.
Officers were on patrol. They were flagged down by a family member involving a disturbance here at this scene. They were brought back to the apartment. As they arrived at the apartment, an occupant of the apartment stepped out. They immediately detained him because they noticed some suspicious activity at the apartment. So as they made a sweep of the apartment, they discovered a deceased female between the ages of 25 and 30 and a deceased toddler as well. Both female, toddlers between the ages of 2 and 4.
Go ahead.
And we're at the very beginning of this investigation, so I don't have a lot of information to give you right now, but that's where we are. Yes, ma'am.
When you say suspicious activity, what did they notice about what was...
They noticed that, including the information that they were given about the disturbance, they noticed that there was blood at the scene.
And sir, what's the relation between this person who has been detained and our victims?
Real early on, I don't know right now.
Did he have blood on him, or was it just blood at the...
He did have some blood on him as well, yes.
And at this point, we don't know, it's not clear how they were killed, but this is a homicide investigation.
It is a homicide investigation, and we don't have the exact cause of death right now.
And sir, the female who died is the mother of the child?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there any other children, anyone else in the apartment?
No, they were the only occupants of the apartment at the time.
Was this ever a hostage situation? Like, did anyone call in 911 earlier? Do we know that?
There was a call earlier in the night about a disturbance at the location, but it was not at that time identified as a hostage situation.
Who called in that situation?
I believe it was a neighbor, an anonymous call.
Saying just they heard something? What did they say?
I don't have that information either right now.
A disturbance?
Yes.
And sir, the man who's detained, is he cooperating? Has he told you anything? Is he under the influence? What do we know?
We have him detained, and he's going to be taken down for an interview. We don't have the rest of the information right now.
Is it likely that he's facing murder charges?
It's too early in the investigation to indicate right now.
Is he young? Is he the partner of this woman who was killed?
Too early to give that information as well.
We don't. Is he the father of the child, the toddler?
Don't have that information either.
Is there any other record of disturbances at this particular apartment in the past?
I don't have that information right now as far as history of calls to this apartment. Mm-hmm. So we'd have to get that information to you later.
And family of the young woman is here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Were they present when you say that a family member led officers back to the apartment, were they present when something happened? Like, were they witnesses to a crime?
No, they were not witnesses. They came, and when they noticed, they discovered actually the toddler in the apartment and immediately went to get help.
They were coming over. They were coming over at 3:30 in the morning, or
no. This was well, I believe so. I'm sorry, I misspoke, but. Yes, they were coming over because they were concerned about the family member that was in the apartment. Yes.
Who was the family? Was it a sister? Was it can you say any specifics about the family member?
Well, I don't want to give specifics right now because not everyone in the family has been notified, so we want to give them that respect.
Had the young woman called for help?
I don't have that information right now. And like I said, out of respect for the family, we want to keep the information limited until we're able to have that discussion with the family as well.